Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Consciousness Method podcast. I'm Allura Halliwell, and today I'll be chatting to Brendan Fitzgibbons, an incredible guy. He's a comedian, super funny, an author, a filmmaker, a writer, and an all-round spiritual seeker. And the chat that we have today is incredibly inspiring, incredibly revelational, and I think will offer you some of the keys to your own healing journey. So follow along and feel free to reach out at the end of the episode and share your thoughts and to connect with both Brendan and I as we move through this evolution of consciousness. Hello, Brendan. I'm so excited to chat today.
I'm beyond excited. You wore a ball gown. I wore a hoodie. We're in this together.
We're just quite vibing. We decided we've become new best friends.
I think we're best friends despite being 14 time zones apart from each other. It's great.
So good. Yeah, I was a guest on Brendan's podcast a couple of weeks ago, and then we kind of formed a fast friendship because I think we just found some synergy in the journey and in the exploration of consciousness. You're an amazing comedian. That interview just was so fun for me. Thank you.
Oh, no, it was great. I loved it so much. And what I mentioned to you, which was so wild, is how every guest I've had on my podcast is almost exactly mirrored where I was at in my life. And your story was like literally what I went through on Bufo, a couple months ago. And the fact that you did a meditation retreat. I've been to that retreat. So it was very interesting because of all the people, like I get a lot of people reaching out to me, a lot of PR people, and I don't say yes to everybody. And then but everybody who I say yes to, I'm like, yeah, of course, this is what you're talking about right now. This is exactly what's going on in my mind.
So tell me like a bit about that for those that need to catch up on the story. Like you're a really full-on spiritual seeker. Like you're one of the really deep dudes that are doing this work on a deep level, which I love because it's a special breed of humans that are doing this work right now. And I just found so much synergy in your intention because I'm a seeker too. I want to work it out and know what's going on. But can you share a little bit about the journey?
Yeah, I'm trying to get to a place where I stop asking what's going on a little bit less. That's my goal. Yeah, no, I mean, so I started off as a comedian and a journalist and a writer, and then I grew up in a very religious household. My mom is, for all intents and purposes, in my opinion, in a Christian cult. That's fine. Side note, it's fine. So I grew up very Christian, and I always kind of went along with it. Then I always is always seeking, always seeking. So then in like my late 20s, I left Christianity, found The Secret, which is I feel like where everybody kind of started. And then it just took me on this journey for the last 12 years. And the last 3 years, I've gotten into psychedelics. I'm writing a book about it. I'm not like Mr. Psychedelic, though, despite that happening. I think it's just one more way to get to the ultimate truth. That's awesome. But then I had this Bufo experience 3 months ago, and it totally changed my life. Yeah. Probably the most profound thing that's ever happened to me. And I'm still processing it. And then I talked to you who had a sober Bufo experience on a beach. So pretty great.
Yeah. Tell me, like, what do you think is the most intense thing to process about that experience? Because I know for me, there's an aspect that I found really hard to get my head around. But what has it been for you?
Actually, the number one question I want to ask you is along these lines. Yeah. So, because I want to know if you experienced this. So basically, your listeners know, your clients know, you had this experience. You basically became somebody else almost. My question to you is, knowing that, right, that you could become someone else, what's kind of messing with me now is not messing with me. It's just like the realization that, oh shit, you could actually be 10 million other people. Does that make sense? That like the multiverse of possibilities, and this thinking is not very helpful in a productive society. So that's like what I'm like, okay, I'm Brendan, because the whole concept of yourself, the biggest lie that people are subconsciously telling themselves right now is that you think who you are is who you are.
Yeah.
And that is not true. And some people don't want to hear that, and you don't need to. Like, I'm not here to get everybody to not think this way, but once you actually feel that, and once you actually realize that, it's both incredible and also holy shit overwhelming.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, you went through that. Like, you
Yeah.
know what it's like. Like, you literally, and very few people actually went through that. People with NDEs or NDA, like near death experiences as well. Like a real ego death. I'm not talking like, hey, you know, I jumped out of a plane or I took yoga once. I'm talking like you got fucked up.
I really got fucked up. I got totally done over. I got totally done over.
Yeah.
Such a good question, because it becomes such a portal, a multidimensional portal, and there's no end to that realization that you are not just this fixed version of you. And then that's when it opens up the portal of the remembrance of all the versions you've been. So, you know, I was like flicking through, you know, people call them past lives, but I just call them the other me, in other timelines, in other versions of me, not just the one here, but the one that was expressing through all time and space. So I wasn't just trying to orientate to a new version of me in this timeline. I was trying to orientate the fact that I was getting direct access to all the versions in all the timelines, and they just kept rolling out. I was like, oh my God, I could literally be everyone, everywhere through all time. There's no separation anymore. The collapse of that separation between me being an individual human with an individual identity, then me being anything, any potential, any human, was just kind of almost broke my brain a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I can't really, and this is the thing that I kind of had to sit with. I was like, whoa, there is like a physical limitation and a consciousness limitation for me to be everywhere at all times. It was actually more disorientating than helpful, because I was like, I don't know who I am today. But then the thing that reconciled it for me was when I came into this relationship with my consciousness, and I went, okay, my consciousness has actually chosen this as the major drop point, as the drop zone.
Cool.
Beyond all other drop zones. Like
I love drop zone.
Yeah. Like I could be anywhere, but my consciousness has chosen its majority expression right here, right now. So I'm like, okay, if that's what it's chosen, I have to kind of reconcile this identity in this relationship to this reality, knowing on a multidimensional aspect, if everything's connected, whatever I reconcile here and now is reconciling me through all space and time. It's not just this version right here, right now. So I kind of collapsed it inwards, and I went, you know what? I could get really blown away here, but I'm just going to bring it right back to where I need to be here. And that presence kind of anchored me, because I was like, this is going to drive me crazy.
Yeah. I mean, and some people are just DJs. All right. So, okay. It's great. I love that you said drop zone. I love what you're saying. I think for me, like, I like to know what you think about this. Like, when I first started on this journey, I think we all kind of know that we have this incredible manifestation power. Visualization equals success. I actually think I was the best at manifesting before I knew any of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
I really do. Like when I was 19, like I was just like instantly manifesting because I wasn't questioning, right? So then you go down this journey, right? So then you like start to deal with your doubts, society, programming, whatever. So now I feel like I'm unraveling that. But in the back of my head now is still like this realization of this is a multidimensional world with endless possibilities. Time isn't real. Like all carrying all these things. And also like the idea that, you know, you can be anyone, and also like, well, I could also just hop a timeline over here. It's like, it's kind of a lot, because I feel like for manifestation, and this is my question, manifestation and energy, it's really important, I think, to narrow your focus sometimes.
Yeah.
And my focus is much more like out than it used to be, if that makes sense. But I'm also kind of happier because I feel very aware. So I'm enjoying everything a lot more. But I see people who are hyper focused or like hyper, like I'm just doing this. And I'm like, cool, you can just do that. But also know like it doesn't matter. And like, there's just love. Like, it's like I'm holding both of these things all the time in my head. And it's But to be a functional member of society and I do have really specific dreams. Sometimes I'm just wondering, I hope that this is helping me. I guess that's the question.
Yeah, I know. You know what? That's when I got to this fracture. So when I kind of chose this version, I was like, oh God, I've chosen this version. But if I feel my nervous system, I feel my cellular memory, I feel like what's coded in this human design pattern, this like actual vortex of a physical manifestation of me, I'm like, there are very real limiting factors that I'm going to have to process quite coherently for me to be internally aligned and clear enough to project the reality I want. Because what became really clear for me is that everything is the projection, like holographic.
Yeah.
In terms of like, and this is what I love. Instead of that being like a limitation, like, oh my God, look at all the crap happening around me. Look how hard that is. Look how tough that is. I'm like, okay, right. This actually gets me. I know I'm using all these terms, but like heat seeking. It's like, whoa, there's a fire over there. I need to go directly into that fire and explore exactly what is that fire reflecting that's alive in me, that's anchoring me into that zone. Because then I'm like, okay, if I unhook that from the inside, that fire like goes out because I'm not tethered energetically, emotionally, mentally into that repetition of that loop in my reality. I've collapsed it inside me. And that's where I got like the real code about the pain and the fear. And I know you've loved that work, like those meditations. I'd love to hear about your experience on that. But for me, that was one of the, like there's others, but that was a massive collapse point because I was like, the only thing holding that in place is me being a limited version, which is literally connecting in to stored unconscious pain and my fear protecting that pain.
Okay. So this is a question. First of all, I love that you're using all this military terminology.
I don't know why. Is this a download from your family? This is like
I'm excited for you to start saying that God is SEAL Team 6. Then I was attacked by the spirits. SEAL Team 6 came on my roof. My fucking roof. This is a question I kind of asked you on my podcast, and I have to ask it again.
Yeah.
Because this is something I had this today where I got caught in. I was making content and I had horrible technical problems and I just spiraled. Okay. So what you're basically saying is no matter what fire or spiral you're walking in, that's still something in your nervous system that's triggering that. You are saying that correctly. So it's never actually a shitty habit. It's the fact that that's even in your nervous system in the first place.
Yeah.
That's how you see it. Okay. So that's fascinating to me.
Yeah. It has to be like coded in here because if you were sitting side by side with some tech dude that just is like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's that malfunction. I'm just going to go through that and fix that up. His wiring for that particular experience is not going to get activated the same way. He might get activated when he sees his wife like chatting online with another dude. That might trigger him. But when he sees a technical problem, he's like, oh, this is just something I've expanded myself significantly to know that this is just the process. But then for you, on the other hand, you know, that can be your nervous system's like, no, this is like where fear is connected. This is where pain is because I'm not able to like facilitate what I want to get like across the line. So that feels like a threat to my system on some level. But you don't feel like that when you come online and do a podcast. Like most people would be freaking out doing that, you know? Expansion of that nervous system to accommodate that level of reality.
Yeah, for me, it's not just that. It was then a cascading trigger of past thoughts. Yeah. And so that's what I mean about like, okay, so it is always coming from you. That makes a lot of sense. And it's frustrating to me because I believe that all the things I'm saying, I believe like in this current moment, you are not your past. So it's very frustrating to me. And this is why I love Joe Dispenza. I know you hate him.
I've got mixed emotions.
It always comes up. But no one has ever pointed it out and made it that easy for me. Like I didn't understand for two and a half years why my life was not changing. And then I was like, holy fuck. it's because of everything that he's saying. Like, I am addicted to the past. But the truth is, and why, to go back to what I said in the beginning, when you're 18 and 19 and you're manifesting so well, you don't have a past. So you can call those neural pathways, you can call those whatever you want. Your life is an open book. So I'm like doing everything I can to get back to this beautiful blank page because I believe in the blank page. No.
Tell me, because all respect to Joe, love him.
You always go, all respect to Joe, and you're like, let me tell you something about this.
Tell me about the space for you, because I actually agree with you about Joe's work. It's profound. But tell me about the space for you about when you went into the pain and fear and unhooked the energetics of the pain and fear, more so like actually got real with what your past held, as opposed to this aspect of like, let's erase the past and create a positive version in the future. Yeah. Like for me, that just, there's some level of bypass there. So like, I'd love to hear, what was it like to go into that zone, like of the pain and fear?
Yeah. So this is, first of all, I want to say Allura's not paying me to say this. What I'm about to say. So when I did your meditations, which was literally the last month, I would say, and since in that last month, I've probably done them 17 times, I would say. Okay. So the first times I did them, I would just tap into a sensation. So I would go back to probably what happened today and feel that again and just watch my body respond. Right. So I could tune into it, watch it. And the first couple times I did it, I had like crazy electrical things going on in my body in a way where I was like holding onto my chair. Now, I think that for whatever reason, I'm really open to your work now. I don't think that this would have happened to me before Dispenza or before Bufo. And I should say, like, I've done EMDR. I've done a lot of this, like, past regression style therapy. And I thought that, like, I processed a lot of this out. So what would happen is it would be like this crazy wave of feelings in my body. And I just would go with it. And I honestly liked it. I was like, good. Like, at this point, I will do anything. Once you smoke frog venom, you're kind of open for anything. And you experience what it's like to die. I'm like, this is easy. I'm like, this is super easy. I love going inward. I do. And so it's fun. It is kind of fun for me. And so that's what happened. And then I could feel, then the memories would come. And then I would like, I would try to not change them too much, but I would just watch them sort of dissolve. And then the amplitude, what's really interesting, Allura, is like every time since I've done it, the amplitude of that pain that's processed through my body was dissipating, right. Which I'm sure you know. Like, so I let my body tell me, like, do I really, like, I still will do your meditation, but there will be times when I'm like, oh, I think I'm okay.
Yeah, cool.
I didn't need to do this. And then I'm like, okay, I'll give it a couple more days. But there was, when I was doing it like every day, it was like, whoa, so powerful. And now it's dissipating.
Perfect. That's so good, because that means you've met that pain portal and you've actually become safe within the relationship you have internally to that pain. So you're not fearing on the same level. Have you felt some shift in reality? And I know you've been doing a whole heap of work, so it's not just from this, but have you felt like the fear on some levels dissipate, or your capacity to stretch beyond where you felt the limitation was?
Yeah, I really like the electrical fence analogy that Liz Larson gave, that your nervous system is an electrical fence. And I really feel like my electrical fences are down. I'm a little bit perplexed as to, right now I'm home in Chicago where I grew up, in the house that I grew up in, and I want to be in LA. I don't really know why I'm still here. And I was hoping to be free and to leave at any moment. Not that I'm not free, but I'm trying to see the best of it. But yeah, absolutely. The electrical fence is down. A lot of things in my reality that I wanted to change have changed, because I had about like 4 or 5 things and decisions I needed to make that were hard. And a couple of them have just played out. I told you about one, which is incredible. I told you that happened. It's insane. It's amazing. Like, I can't believe that worked out like that. I'm so happy. And then a couple personal things. So like, yeah, for sure. But I think for sure the feeling of like, I don't feel like afraid or like, ugh. But then I kind of am like bucking up against some of like the habits too. Like I'd love to know what your thoughts on like 3D real world action, your work and habits, you know?
Like the stuff that you're doing repetitively in a more like kind of addictive, unconscious way. It's like you just keep cycling on that, or habits as in like things you're forming to try and create something different.
So like, let me give you an example. If I work out every day, I know I'm probably going to be happier, right? And that's kind of the case for a lot of people. Yeah. So the real question we should all be asking is, why aren't we doing that? Yeah. And that goes back to your wiring, right? Or goes back to the unconscious story that you're telling yourself that for whatever reason you can't, which is not true. There is almost no human being in the world that can't work out. Like, that's healthy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, of course there's exceptions, but you know what I'm saying? So, but that's the case for all the change. So like, I have to ask myself that question with, okay, well then why aren't you thriving financially then? Because I also believe in endless abundance and all that shit too. So yeah, so by habits, I mean like doing that versus like getting sad and sitting around and checking my email that I don't have a job. So like, that's what I mean. Like, instituting more working out versus the stress and the worrying.
Yeah, so you're going to have that unconscious addiction to the stress and the worrying, because that's going to really make you feel so much safer. So your system is like, it's really easy to get really safe and in the known if I go and do that predictable thing. And that's really Joe's message as well. Like, you know the addiction there. But what is the deeper level of that addiction? What are those thoughts, feelings, and behaviors? What patterning do they feed into that creates a deeper level of wounding and affirms that wounding? So for me, like, those three core wounds of being unloved, unworthy, and unknown underpin our relationship to reality on such a deep level. So, I mean, just feeling into like what you're saying about work and money, there would be some level of deep unworthiness that would be programmed in your system around, I don't feel completely capable, like able to stretch enough to receive that level of reality, no matter how much I mentally manifest, because there's going to be some level of pain that will have stopped that process, right? That separation to survive. So instead of being in your true essence of your creation, being met by a flow back, which in this case you want to be money, there'll be some layer of your personal experience where you were told that you were wrong, that you were not okay, that who you were is not acceptable on some level, and you would have created some level of fear around a version of you that feels free enough just to be in receivership of what is actually here for you. So there's going to be this push-pull effect. There's going to be this mental thing of like, habitually, like, I should go and do all the good things. But the survival aspect of you is going, it's not actually safe to go and be the full version of me, because I've been told consciously or unconsciously or felt that wasn't a safe place for me to go.
Yeah. So that's my worst nightmare. So you just, like, you want to talk about Halloween worst nightmares? You just described my haunted house, is living in that in-between place, that stuck place. Like, you told me this really interesting thing when we talked after the podcast and we had that great talk. You were like, you must be in a lot of pain because it must be very painful to have all these dreams and then to also have a system that's pulling you back. But I guess, like, also I have to be careful because I also don't want to stay in a victim state. Like,
yeah, I know. This is,
you know what I mean?
Paradox.
Because the victim state is also super unhelpful. Like today, laying down, being so stressed out by this tech problems and letting shit snowball, laying there is not good. And even if I'm like, I'm a victim of my own programming, like, what does that actually do?
And this is the missing link, right? This is the missing link. And this is where I actually think, like, as a species, we're absolutely shortcutting, we're bypassing what we need to truly acknowledge. Because if you got really, really truthful in that moment and you went, you know what, I do in this moment feel like a pure victim to reality. I feel like a pure victim to this experience. And then you dive inwards and you go, what do I feel a victim to? And then you begin to witness the program and it says, okay, I feel a victim because I feel stuck. What creates fear in that? Well, the stuckness creates this sense that I'm not going anywhere. Well, what's the pain in that? Well, that means that I'm actually a failure on some level or whatever it is. And then you get this like conscious bird's eye view of programming yourself. And it's like, instead of going, I don't want to be that, it's like, I am that in that moment. So it's like capacity stretch around that and go full conscious awareness. This is how I program myself in these moments. And instead of trying to get out of it, go more deeply through it to feel the intersection where you actually reconnect to yourself. Because that place you're in is coded with disconnection. You keep feeling disconnected from yourself, your reality, what you want to create. But the only way to create connection is through that moment back to you. Because when you're connected to you in that moment, in that the hardest moment of your existence, when you're actually feeling like everything is at the end of the road for you, if you go and connect to the source of you in that moment, you collapse the external reality, you make yourself that core priority, and then you create a new internal foundation, which is like, I'm actually safe to be in this place. And from a pure safety, like a true safety, it's like, I've made safe all the failure parts of me. They don't need to be expressing anymore because they're like, you know what, I'm good, I'm resolved, I'm back to the source, I'm whole. So then you actually can create. But if you're resisting that, the template is still running unconsciously. So this, and this is why I feel like the spiritual community is like, they're telling us to be like, you love it when I get like this. They're telling us to be like, go that way, go away from this, go away from that moment, like try and be better, do more, be better, make it happen. But it's like,
or they'll say, be in the moment. That's another way of dealing with it.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, go and be with the truth. Like go really hardcore into what it actually is you're experiencing.
Yeah.
That's a scary place. Yeah.
Are we aliens or are they the aliens? Do we know yet?
You know what? I would, yeah. I mean,
no, I'm kidding.
Alien encounters, and I'm like, maybe we're both. Blend.
Okay, so in that moment, you would say then to get into like that meditative place. Yeah. And just start asking questions. But your meditations, your meditation is basically ask one question over and over again. So
two, that's the pain and what is the fear?
What is the fear? So that's the question to keep going back to. Okay.
Yeah. Because
that's helpful for everybody. Okay.
Your body is a multidimensional portal, right? So like in your body, we can find where your pain and fear sits. So like if I say like, I feel like I'm not succeeding or I feel like I'm failing on some level, you'll be able to find where that sits in your body. Like it's a full visceral sensation for most people that can feel into their body.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like, okay, well, wow, that means that is there. That's the truth of your body. Your body's not lying, going, oh, I just have a phantom feeling in that area.
Right.
Right? So like there's consciousness that's kind of coded in your energetic body in that space. So like, why don't we crack it open and have a good look? Go.
Let's have a laugh. You want some tea? Let's hang out. Let's have a good time.
Let's chill together, all right?
I want to say one thing that I have to ask you a question. Yes. And I think what you said about everybody's biggest fear is looking at their pain is unbelievably true. And once you realize that it's okay. So I had Tori Olds as a parts work therapist on my podcast. She said something so beautiful. She's like, I've never met anybody who's gone inward and hasn't fallen more in love with themselves.
Oh, I love that.
I know. Isn't that incredible? And like, I just want everyone to hear that. Like, as scary as it sounds, and trust me, I agree that it's scary. Like, I get it. The more you do go in, the more you'll be like, oh, that's okay, buddy.
Good. Yeah, it's so true. And like I'm just finishing the book. I loved Unworthy Unknown.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, the book is like so close now. And I had
It's
these
great.
really intense chapters about dying to the limited self, which
Yeah.
is another version. It's not ego death, but it's another version of ego death that has kind of come out of the work that I've been doing. And I really had to sit with that. I was like, can can people really take this on that it's safe for you to have the death of your limited self? It's because it's pushing the edge of our humanity, right? Like this is not it's not easy work, it's not pleasant work.
Yeah.
It's messy, like messy reorientating chaos work. It's not like you're going to sit there and achieve a Zen state and then just be like, boom. It's like you're going to be snotty, feel like you're like falling off a cliff, feel like it's not okay for you, and whatever. Like it's going to be chaotic. And then you're going to get this zone that arrives. And this whole thing came from my out of body experience. It showed me like you go through the fear, you release, it's like heaven, it's bliss. And the same thing that can happen in our bodies in our daily lives. Like we don't have to wait to actually die. And unfortunately, dying has got such a bad rap. Like this whole concept of dying is a really shrouded negative thing. And I'm not talking about physically dying. And, you know, if anyone has that concept, they need to get immediate help. I'm talking about the energetic, limited version of us just falling in and resting in and going, I don't need to be trying to live in a survival mode anymore.
Right.
It's big work. So
Yeah, that's like going in for the kill shot, to use your terminology. Yeah, no, my TV show is about this death, exactly what you said about death. So, here's my hypothetical. And yes, this is about me, but I want everyone to also listen and apply it to themselves because it will also, for someone who wants to work out, get a new job. Okay, to use your terminology, I am in Chicago in my parents' house. I'm single, okay? There's a version of me that could say, well, I'm single because I have an unloved wounding and go down that road, right? But there's also a certain point in time when, hey, maybe I'm single because I'm just hanging out with my 75-year-old parents. Like what is the steps to taking positive action
yeah.
towards what you actually want versus just being like, this is my nervous system holding me back, right?
And this is step 2. Okay. So
Okay.
once you process your pain and fear, like to a degree whereby you're not being consistently triggered into an unconscious response, like you're conscious enough to see what you're doing, you get you really, really, really clearly where you're applying self-limitation. You'll be like, oh, wow. So like, I'm not on the apps. I'm not connecting with anyone. I'm hiding myself away. I'm doing all these things that are protective because I don't want to reveal myself to another human because that feels scary in some way because it's not going to be safe for my heart. You see that version of you and then you go, right, I'm going to stretch my nervous system into a reality whereby I'm doing things that feel really uncomfortable. So you shared something with me recently where you stretched your nervous system beyond the predictable version of your design form, right? Of how you've been in a certain relationship. And because you stretched your nervous system beyond it, the reality immediately resolved around it. And reality does that because you're the hologram that's creating this shift. So what I would say is the interface work is part 2. So like working.
So interface means action, kind of, to use.
Interface means like the internal you reacting with reality. And you're like literally going in commando style, like pulling out the parts and going, I am terrified to do that thing. So I would go there. Go exactly where you're terrified to go.
Yeah.
Go to the place where you are like, if I go there, I will die. That will be the worst thing ever. Because that's the only place to liberate yourself and crack open reality. It's like not playing it safe and going around the edges and like, oh, if I go here and if I go there, it'll work out. It's like, no, what terrifies you? Go there and stretch into that reality and see what happens. And you'll realize reality is safe and you're creating a whole new timeline. You'll be like, whoa, this is really cool. People are doing this
Yeah.
all the time in the work I'm doing, and like it's kind of mind-blowing to watch because reality is so responsive. Like reality is really
Yes.
loving and kind and helpful and not a bitch like we think it is. It actually wants to love us and support us, but we need to be
Right.
stretching beyond that container that we want to put ourselves in. And it's tough. It's big.
Yeah. Well, what you said about doing the thing that terrifies you is everything, I think.
Yeah.
It's such a big part of it for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so the stretching, we're able to do that with anything, right? You believe that we can, even if our initial nervous system is like, don't do that. Repetition, is that one way for sure too, right?
Yeah, and there would be definitely something about repetition. But let's use a personal example. Like what would scare you the most right now to do? Like what would you think that's like kind of connected to something that you want to do, but would be terrifying for you to do?
Well, I put up what I was working on today was creating a course. So that was something new for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's completely the thing that's terrifying. Personal would be going up to a girl and singing karaoke to her immediately. That's goddamn terrifying. I would say I'm gonna go do this ayahuasca retreat. I'm pretty scared to do that, but I feel like, and the dates are changing, which is really interesting because I'm like, you're probably doing this because I feel like, I want to do it, and the part of me is like, don't do it, and it's like this, like,
Have you done
but the
ayahuasca before?
no, this is for my book.
No.
Most scary thing.
What would it be like to have a really connected, like, and maybe you already have this, but what would it feel like to be like really connected and expanded with your parents? Like how would you feel?
I was like, she's gonna say I have a connected relationship with my parents. I know it. Fuck.
You know that's why you're there?
I don't know that.
Okay, so that's why you're there. And after tomorrow, you need to ask your parents like a massive question, with each of them individually. I want you to ask them what caused them the most pain when they were children.
Allura, we don't even really hug in this house.
And you're going to hug them every morning and also like a cup of tea or coffee. This is where your creation of your relationship is going to begin.
Oh, man.
Everything
Really?
is connected. If you're not connected here, you can't be connected any other relationship in your life.
What? Come on, that seems pretty extreme.
No.
That's extreme. Come on. I have tons of connected relationships. They're not connected enough.
No, I'm saying like an intimate. If you want to move, like your intimacy is going to be correlated to the level of intimacy from your primary relationships. And I'm just speaking to you. I'm not speaking generally now. I'm saying for you, the reconciliation here is going to reconcile your heart for that next level.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
100%.
Did you get these?
You're going to die.
Did you get these orders from the command center?
The divine command center is just like exactly where Brendan has to go.
The drill sergeant. So you really think that that's it?
100%. For you right now, the reason why you're still in stasis in that house is because you have to resolve this primary aspect. And one is getting connected via their version of reality. So you need to understand what is painful for you, what was painful for you growing up, what was it like raising me, like what scares you, what's painful for you now, that intimate relationship. Number 2, you need to develop some level of love and connectivity with them because you're a really sensitive, connected guy. Like you can tell, like you're very, I'm sure you're very affectionate, very connected. That needs to come through with this relationship with your parents. You need to feel safe enough to be connected with them on your terms, not on their terms anymore, on yours.
But what about if all I talk to my dad about is the Chicago Cubs?
That's because the version of reality that you guys have agreed upon has become limited and collapsed into one potential. So when we talk about being like multidimensional, there's a version of your dad you're yet to meet, and there's a version of you as a son that you're about to meet. And it's going to liberate you guys.
Okay. I'm terrified. Thank you.
That's the dying part.
You just said the scariest thing somehow. God. Okay.
And that's why you're still there. And when this work happens and you resolve and you begin to see the version of you that was in fear differently with your family, you'll be released.
I want to be in jail. Can I just go?
No.
Yes, I can. I can go. But this is what I mean. Like,
You
this
can
is
go, but the reason why you haven't gone is because reality is showing you what to do.
Well, that's not obvious for a lot of people. That's not super obvious.
I know. That's
not a lot of people get to talk to you across the world via Zoom to get these truths. But okay, I just want to say though, like these kind of things, then I start to feel pressure, like I need to do this, and that's also a problem.
So no, I don't want any pressure. I want you to find internally, tell me what relationship you would like to have with your family, your parents. Like if you were being honest, independent of how it is or how it's been, if you can like just express to me, like if you could imagine the version that you prefer, what would that feel, look, sound, be like?
I think it'd be cool if they really knew who I was. I mean, my mom kind of does, but she outright rejects it. So that's been difficult.
Yeah. So that's why I want you to flip the script and get to know who they are. Get to know who they are first so they feel safe knowing it's safe to be known. And then what will happen is they'll feel safer to know you.
Okay.
Yeah. Because if you get curious about them, tell me more about you, tell me more about this, tell me more about that, they're gonna drop. They're gonna be like, oh my gosh, he's actually asking me as a human, like as not just this limited version as a parent. It's like the expanded version comes through.
Okay. I didn't want this whole podcast to be a counseling session about me. So how can we give more to your viewers? If you guys want, I'll just Venmo you each 25 cents. That's where I'm at right now.
Oh, can't help myself. Sorry, Brendan. But we're right, because I think it's good for people to hear this, because the place that they don't want to go is the place they really don't want to go. Like it's the hardest. Like I recently ended a relationship that I didn't want to end, but the only reason I had to end it because my unloved wound was addicted to the love, but wasn't getting the supporting aspects of everything else that I needed, that I knew that I was worthy of, but couldn't conceive of. So I had to end that relationship to end my addiction to being loved, but also the limited, wounded version of me that was willing to accept the love, but without the other things that I need, because the love was so potent and so addictive for me. So that was really hard.
So do you think, though, that we ever get to a place where we'll stop going to these scary places? It's always going to happen.
I actually think reality totally shifts and changes. Like some aspects of my life now that like 5 years ago would have been terrifying for me are completely coherent. Like very, very highly coherent, and absolutely don't need my attention in the same way. So yes, I think we're going to process layers, but I also believe there's an up-leveling that's happening all the time, and you'll complete that version and you'll be like, wow, this is amazing on this side. And then I don't think you need to keep revisiting. Once you get it, and I see this a lot with the people I work with, once you actually really get that missing piece, you don't need to keep touching it because it's reconciled within you and the reality reconciles around you. And then you're like, I'm good. It's not a like a recurring kind of conflict, I suppose.
Yeah, because that's what I'm wondering too. And I guess if that's what this is a never unfolding journey where the more you step into unknown places, the more you expand. That's kind of cool too. It's just like, I mean, all I talk to my dad about is the Cubs. Like, what are we gonna do?
You're going to be messaging me, oh, Laura, I just had the great.
Oh my gosh. This is like
childhood.
what? This is like what? Okay.
Okay, good.
Okay. Okay.
And whenever it's that pain, do the meditation because that'll help.
Yeah.
Because it will be pain.
Yeah, no. Great. Thank you. That sounds like so much fun. Sounds like a ton of fucking fun. Oh my God. Okay.
Good.
Great. All right.
Good. All right. We good?
Yeah, I feel good. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, how do you feel? We need to talk about anything else? I'm happy to talk about it all.
I think we're good. I think we can.
Okay, great.
I think we can chat again when you come back.
Okay, perfect.
You can come and update and let us know how it goes.
Okay. From the love invasion that I'll be dropping on my parents. Okay.
The love invasions.
The love invasions. I'm doing it. Battle plan. Draw the battle plan.
I got my one of my clients was in the same place with her mum, but she was living with her, and she has early kind of mid-onset dementia. And I set her the task of bringing her a cup of tea every morning, and it was like she was going like imploding. Like she was like, I'm not going to do that. The level of pain there was so big. And she did, and she started bringing that cup of tea, and they started to bond, and the relationship started to move, and she started to move, and her relationship with her partner started to move, and with her kids started to move, and that core relationship has tendrils everywhere. And it was like, oh, wow, I actually don't have to protect myself from my mom anymore. I'm safe to be able to be in this connected relationship, and it connects you to yourself and everyone else. So,
what? Okay, just quickly. What if though it doesn't feel safe? It just keep
the version of you that it doesn't feel safe for is the version that's not here as a grown man. It's a little boy. So that's the version of you that's a little boy will not feel safe connecting with your parents.
Right.
And you'll need to understand and empathize with him as to why he doesn't feel safe to connect. Like it's almost like the little version of you is going to need a hand holding to get to know your parents from another side. Because the version of your parents that that little boy got was connected into your wounding. So what I see is normally there's like strong levels of coercion, domination, and control that's hooked into our wounding on all levels. So parents take on those roles to kind of squeeze that wound a little bit harder. And then they become almost the perpetrators, right?
Yeah.
And until we rewrite that dynamic, it's very hard to kind of reconcile ourselves.
Okay, so that's where like doing your meditation stuff can come in before I possibly, I already feel like more of an adult around them, but I still do feel like reverting back to little B sometimes for sure.
Yeah, and little you will definitely need a lot of love to step through that and safety with the adult version of you. So I love it like when we can get the adult version of us to really care for the younger version and go, you know what, I'm going to hold you through this because they are looking for you. So it's almost like we have this absence with our parents on different degrees. So there's a gap for you, the current adult version of you, to go back and fill the gap because you're the only one that knows what he needed. You're the only one that knows.
Okay.
So and fill his needs, and then you create a new relationship with your parents because we have this unconscious thing that our parents can fill our needs, but they don't and they can't.
They can't, and no one. And by the way, no one else can. That's the other thing.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's only you. So just walk around hugging myself all day. Okay, cool.
When you have that first hug, it's going to feel so good. Just go in for it like full stealth and then be like, I'm going to hug you now.
Oh my God. All right, I'm going to hug myself. Okay, well, thank you. This is awesome.
Thank you, Brendan. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll chat.
All right.
Right. Peace.
Bye.
Bye. It's been an absolute pleasure to spend this time with you. And to say thank you, I'd like to share with you 3 beautiful meditations to explore your core wounding and a collection of masterclasses. You'll find these in your show notes. And if you feel the synergy to this path, know that it is available to you also.